I'm taking a huge hit right now, but that huge hit is what I prayed for before. You know what I mean? And so I'm still blessed. And so it was like there for the last 5 or 7 years, we were playing real estate video games, refresh, refresh. Like I never seen anything like it. Now, and what I say is we went wide, and now it's time to do the real work and go deep and grow our roots here. Not look for a better model. Not. It's like we really got to solve problems. The obstacle is the path to success. Most people just don't want to take, the time to go through the obstacle. They try to find a shorter path.
Hey there, future real estate legends. This is Jason P. Jordan, your go-to global real estate coach and the president and CEO of the Legends International team, brokered by eXp Realty. I just wanted to thank you for being here and welcome you to another episode of the LiT Real Estate Show, where we interview our equity partners at eXp Realty in the USA and from all around the globe. Now I just ask you to please subscribe to my channel by clicking the subscribe button and hitting that bell icon so you never miss another LiT show or any other future videos that I have then launch here on this channel. It also helps the show grow so we can get even more successful eXp Realty agents on to help you. Now, at the same time, if you're a subscriber, you'll get access to new shows before anyone in the world does. If you would, subscribe right now. Thanks so much. So let me start by introducing our guest speaker today. So Adam Bailey from Wichita, Kansas, right? And so from this boy who grew up in Omaha, right? Wichita is even smaller than Omaha, right? And if he can have a team that has done over $1 billion in volume in 10 years, check this out, 5,800 homes sold, right? He has scaled an elite sales team with ownership. He's built a traditional team, open expansion offices, a modern team building system, inside sales real estate coaching program, a former partner of a top 10 ranked independent team brokerage, listed by Wall Street Journal, Inc. 5000, and the #1 in Kansas, and he sold equity in 5 offices. Today, he's current owner of a top global modern team of over 2,400 plus agents, partners, and team leaders. Adam, my friend, hey, thank you so much for being here, man. Welcome to the call.
What's going on in the world today? What's up, Jason?
Well, hey, it was so awesome to meet you in Las Vegas at eXpCon 2023. And this is the thing that I always tell people is like, especially in Vegas, like don't ever go to bed early. You just never know who you're going to meet, right? And I have to tell you, everybody on this call, I shared out your talk that you did at Cabo 23. Right. And I said, this dude, I've never seen one person ever stand on stage for the small amount of time and run through so much information with so much energy and excitement, right? I had to go back and watch that thing at least 10 times because I was like, dude, you were spitting so much value. It was amazing, right? And I just had to keep going back and over and over and over. So welcome to the call. Tell us a little bit, Adam, from Wichita, Kansas, right? How did you get started in real estate?
Yeah, man, dude, that's a beautiful introduction. I wish you ran all my calls, brother. I love that. That's an interesting question, man. It was actually during the last recession, and when everybody was getting out of it, I had gotten into it with a guy that changed my life, Gerbic. I was part of the 5,800 homes when I was there. He sold a lot more than that. And started out as an ISA with him, setting appointments. ISA is an inside sales client care resource person that helps tee up listing appointments and buyer appointments for the outside sales team, which is the traditional agent. And then, I went on to build our call center with him. And then I got my license 2009, 2010, around in there. Went on to sell 24 houses. The next year, 40 houses. Continued to build the call center, then moved into a leadership role, team lead role. Then got some sweat equity built into the company because wild predictions I made that, became true, like 380 some closings or 392 to, right under 700, 688. And so I basically, started open expansion offices and working on the business instead of in the business, focused on people, processes, systems, and we went on to open, I think 4 or 5 expansion offices, total offices. and then start a coaching company through experiential learning, where I picked that up with Tony Robbins, how to basically leverage our call center to show other people what we were doing, driving revenue, keeping the main thing. Out of Wichita, Kansas, we were doing around about 1,000 houses a year. From 2012 to 2017, we were ranked 9th to 12th in the nation, bouncing around in those spots, under my helm with Gerbic in the background coaching me. But we had a lot of great leaders, like a lot of good veterans. We had a solid group. Gerbic had the foundation there, and I would just say I was ignorance on fire, just like I am playing at a new level with new adults in the international game.
Yeah. So were you in sales before you got into real estate? Because Adam, I always looked at you as like, man, this dude is really young to be having this much success already, right? So were you in sales?
Yeah, like everybody says that. I just got a CA Corvette. I needed to, spend some money, on myself. Like we all go through stuff, right? And take some time off, and I'm coming back. But I always get that. Somebody was like, "Is that your dad's Corvette or whatever?" Like I'm like, "No, man." And so I've always done well for my age bracket, but I attribute that to good mentors and leadership, and I always haven't been like that. I've came from very humble beginnings. I've came from poverty. And I had a guy that took a chance on me. He seen me on the phone, and I put in the effort, and I woke up and I had a good work ethic, just good integrity in the business. And I kept my word with everything that I said. And so, through that became more opportunities, all the way to being able to run, a company that I helped get in the top 10 when they were already like top 50 in the nation at the time, number one in their state. But it is one of these things where I recycle pain. I never want to, go back to where I came from. And so, yeah, without a doubt, like the only way to make it is to sell, because that's where we come from. Everybody is influencing everyone, whether you're in sales or not. And so you better get persuasion down. And basic sales, strategies or tactics, at a very early age. And so for me, the psychology piece with the sales was more like survival skills early on. And then you couple it with what Gerbic got me on, which is the personal growth journey. And that's right. What I'm speaking about here in Dallas. I'm in Dallas. We're running an event. I'm going deeper with my people, and they think it's more leads. They think it's another CRM. They think it's maybe a new knockoff model that's coming right behind eXp. But what got me here today is the work I put in 7 years ago, 8 years ago. And I'm even, if you're hearing me speak, it's me versus me. And Bailey 2.0, I'm having to upgrade my operating systems. Look, I got new 15, I got new Mac, and it's like I got hacked and shut down, but we're still making it. And that's the difference between just being average or good versus great and excellence. Like you got to show up every single day. And so I started selling insurance at 22 years old. I worked at MCI, selling local and long distance back in the days. And so I was rolling around in an '89 Buick selling insurance with buying my clothes at the Salvation Army, you know what I mean, to get going at 22. So I've been self-employed since I was 22 in a 1099 fashion.
And such a grinder, man. And so funny you bring up MCI and long distance. So Marty and I got acquainted and became partners, and he was a mentor to me and has been since. As our first network marketing company, Excel Telecommunications, if you remember that.
Right.
Right. So,
right.
So talk us through, you went on to real estate, you built this great team, right? You helped grow this.
When you talk about team, let's say we, because it wasn't just me, I could have been the heartbeat. I could have been like the center of the butterfly to get the effect going, but that's that team. This isn't wrestling, you know what I mean? And so it's like, being able to play that role, stay a student, figure out what's coming next. But also, what does Will Smith say? It's like you and I get on that trampoline at the same time. I guarantee you're getting off first. So we just put in that Midwest work ethic from Wichita, Kansas. Our average sales price when I started selling was $120,000. So when you talk about like that grind, it's like we had to create a basically like a assembly line real estate processing mill to put out the volume to have the lifestyle that we wanted. And so it took a village to put that together. And what I'm looking at, and not looking at, what we're doing now is taking that same system and implanting it on the road with other leaders. And now we're scaling the truth through these other leaders, and it's really influencing influencers and leading leaders at the highest level. And so hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. And I have to say, looking at your slides from Cabo, and I looked at how you are systems oriented, you know, not just a guy, but like you said, your team is systems oriented, and
right.
You track so many KPIs, right? And then you were also
right.
What was it? Key people influencers? Is that what you coined KPI as?
Basically, it's influencers influencing influencers.
Right. And
that is not a script. When you get there, you can really move a Adam Bailey, you can move a Mike Gerbic, you can move a Tierney Jordan, you can move a Michelle Wilson, you can move a Blake Corey. Hell, it's like, that's what it is. Like, somebody got Jay Kinder, Albie did, right? Like, you start to influence the influencers, and you know, that takes time. But you know, first you got to be able to sell a house.
Exactly. So take us back to that decision you made to come join eXp Realty. Right.
Right.
How long did it take you to make that decision? How many times did you look at it? How many people pestered you to look at it? Right.
You know, it's an interesting situation. You know, Gerbic had, retired, and me and a couple other people owned an equity, piece, and we were humming right along. And we had looked at eXp, not because anybody brought it to us, but we were attempting to solve expansion issues, right? And we could only open one brick and mortar every single year, the broker generating the leads. We built a call center, so we tied it back to Wichita. The quality with the brand promise that had to be delivered, the scale of marketing and the operation systems and the transactions department, and then the listing department on the back end of that. And so it's a legit operation business on the brokerage side as well. So, you know, it was like we were going to have to franchise tag, bring in other partners. And it was like I was on the road, and I was running the coaching company, and Gerbic was kind of winding down, and so winding to retirement. An investor guy didn't see the vision with eXp because I said no to it for a year and a half before the light bulb went off. And I was looking at it all wrong because we are already, profiting, right around or right under $1 million, but two of us weren't working in the field. That's not with our numbers, and so it was interesting. The coaching company was doing well. And then when I, finally seen it, and I got it from the business solution tool inside of Enterprise, which nobody talks about really, but if, that resonates with me, but different things resonate with different people. Keep that in mind too, right? And so it went off, and then at that time, a few of my other partners didn't want to move, and so I bought myself out of that equity piece. And so it's like, yeah, I had it, but it cost me money, but I got a lot of experience out of it, and then I rebuilt from experience. And so, we had 90 agents over 8 years that I was there, and I had 90 agents in 90 days. Granted, the money wasn't the same, and I know the $52 to up over 1,000. And whatever rev share, but it's dropped down for sure, for where we're at, because setbacks happen to all of us. So that's why it's beautiful right now, and I'm getting back on the road because there's a lot of counterfeit and chatter out here, and it's like we can all go back and get it. And so it's like we're all getting punched in the mouth, and everybody has a game plan until they get punched in the nose, as Tyson says. Yep,
exactly. It's interesting to hear you tell your story. And now we have been seeing a lot of really big other independents coming and joining eXp, not just here in the US, but now also in Canada, right? And I think that a lot
we have a team of 50 about to launch. Like, actually should be almost done with onboarding or halfway through it. So without a doubt, like, I'm taking a huge hit right now, but that huge hit is what I prayed for before, you know what I mean? And so I'm still blessed. And so it was like there for the last 5 or 7 years, we were playing real estate video games, refresh. Like, I never seen anything like it. Now, and what I say is we went wide, and now it's time to do the real work and go deep and grow our roots here, not look for a better model. It's like we really got to solve problems. The obstacle is the path to success. Most people just don't want to take, the time to go through the obstacle. They try to find a shorter path.
Yeah, and I think this is the time where we see the biggest growth. EXP was born out of the Great Recession, right? The crash of 08,
Right.
09.
That's when I made my name, and I keep calling this separation season, not because we're in winter. We're gonna know who was BSing and fluffing this whole time versus really driving revenue and keeping the main thing. I was just up in Toronto, Canada, running events up there, not pitching EXP, straight education, how we're driving revenue and closing houses. Right, the speed to lead per se about EXP, that's already happened, and with the competition. But Jason, you're sharp. Put you anywhere, any other brokerage, you're gonna win. Right, this is just the best place for us to grow our roots, and we were going so wide that we didn't have to go deep yet, and now we're having to do the real hard work that makes us great. Right, and that will force out the other hobbyists that's trying to make career money and so on and so forth. And so that separation season is going to be tough for a while. And we've been in it, and it's really my first effect. But I had a lot of personal things happen, this year as well. And so, being back present and moving off purpose and being very intentional, even with other stuff going on around me that is stormy, is really what makes you great and me. And so the execution piece internationally is what I'm focused on. That's why when I was interested, and you overhearing me talk when people were asking me if I was a baseball player or whatever that night, and you're like, I know who that guy is. And like, come here. I was telling my girlfriend that when I'm like, I got to do a podcast with that guy, because I don't do a lot of these, right? And so unless it's back for our people or in the collaboration with EXP, a lot of external people call in, and I got to stay focused. But we talked about that speech in Cabo, and that's what I've taken on the road with me, to slow it down and to go deeper in it, and really build these relationships to get international. Toronto got me in other countries that I didn't know those people there. I still don't know them. And so I'm going to love to go visit them, one day and understand their culture. Just like Toronto is a very diversified area and a melting pot. And it was super hard to get going, but I stayed on it for 4 years. And a lot of people say, how'd you do it? I went up there and was sleeping on a couch, staying with a partner. 3 people would show up to a meeting, maybe 4. Nobody would show up. And then we kind of got it going right for COVID, and it just grabbed. Now we went up there on a whim just to get, the ball rolling before the first year and hit the road with Bailey's back on tour, and let's get out here. And I was shocked. The room was packed, wall to wall. People are starving for information. People are starving for leadership, and so it's not about what they think it is. It's shiny objects. So triple your closings, right? Triple your leads. Like, yeah, we have people, we're generating, some partners 1,000 leads a month, and we're doing things like that. But how you're going to convert more business is developing yourself into the person that it's going to take to educate these people, not sell them, but educate them through the process to have a collaborative agreement for a close. You know what I mean? And so you already hitting on that international piece in your network marketing background. You fascinate me, man. And so I got a lot to learn from you, and hopefully I get to spend some time with you. We're going to start bartering a little bit. So this was the first free piece for you, because I know you have a lot to teach me.
Hey, well, I do want to say this, Adam. You obviously get that it's global, right? And I think that a lot of people, I've realized a lot of people at EXP are starting to wake up to that. But for 2 years, really,
let them sleep. Let them sleep, Jason. Let them sleep.
I know. So, by the way, before I forget, we get on to something else. I know you probably have some NRI agents in Canada up in Toronto. Those are non-resident Indians, okay? And we need to connect on that, because
a lot of them.
I got a call yesterday that with Shashank, who runs eXp Realty India. We have an exclusive on an amazing project up there. We got 5% when they're paying 3% to the market, and we have a 6-month exclusive on this in northern India. Right, so I'll make sure I get you all the deets on that, right? But that's something we need to collaborate, get those agents being able to do cross-border transactions. But
yeah, we have people there for sure, and that is the kind of the next play that I'm looking at. And so I even told my girlfriend we should travel out there, just kind of look around, shake some hands, and it's interesting. Every place is a little bit interesting, and so the nuances to that, I would love to be a part of that.
Absolutely. So, you've already spoke a little bit of the future, and I've had people, since you're bringing up the idea about some other copycat models and companies trying to make moves and things like that. I've had a few people say things to me, and I go, listen, our focus as an organization, when Marty and I and the council formed the Legends International team, the focus was global. And the biggest growth of every single network marketing company is always the global expansion, right? And so this is, and we always came in with a long play, right? This was not a short-term play. This was the long play, right? And we knew that over time, that by having the background, like Marty and Cheryl, his wife, they have an organization of hundreds of thousands of distributors and a health and wellness network marketing company, right? So the blueprint is already there, right? And one of our partners, Sean, helped grow that through China, right? So we know that through the couple of different companies. Now, talk about, and I always say to all these other people that have pitched me this, that, talk to me, have you looked at that? Have you looked at this? I said, listen, there's no other company that has got the financial resources and the footprint to continue a global expansion like eXp.
Look, everybody, look, is lost their mind and forgot about Verbellum. I did not come for Verbellum, and yeah, having to log in the cloud and so on and so forth, like, it was frustrating, and still is, not as much today, to get people acclimated to that. But that one reason alone, not because we own the asset now, EXPI, is because I couldn't be doing what I'm doing. I'd have to look, but I think it was 7 countries or 5 that I had, you know, a dollar bill or some closing come off of, right? Like, where no broker management, no liability, nothing. Like, give me a break. You can say that we're just like EXP or we're a cloud-based brokerage, but Glenna's already grew through that, and the company that owned that before already grew through that. And then financially, he's already figured out this sustainable model. And there's a few more pieces coming, I think, that just got, you know, agreed upon or voted on in the Alpha group this week. Due to travel, you know, and holidays, I have to get in there and look. But it's like Verbellum. That is it. That's what you're talking about. You know what I mean? It's like, that's you. It's like your brokers are in there. It's like the agents can go in there and be transactional with them, and your money just spits out the back end. And Enterprise, the business solution tool. So the business solution tool with accounting, because there's one thing you can't mess up with any salespeople, is not paying them on time. That's the quickest way to lose them, right? And so the money is always there. The money is always transparent. You know, a little bit in the beginning, maybe 5 years ago, but when brokers being replaced and tech was growing, yeah, maybe, but I get paid same time, same way every day, and I don't feel like, you know, there's any funny business going on. And the cloud is what it is, but we're moving into an avatar, you know, world, and if you will, and it's like you could call it whatever you wanted to call it back in the days, but it's legit. We live in a digital world right now, and that's just what our kids. I'm 42. I got a 9-year-old. That's all he grew up with. They think they're going to live in the Truman Show with this stuff.
You know what's really cool is I can't wait for you to learn more about Frame, the new Verbella platform, right?
I've been playing around with Frame for 2 years.
Yeah, but you maybe don't know what I saw with the head developer with that. So I was standing.
Yeah, I haven't logged in about 10 months. 10 months, I haven't seen it.
I was in his Frame, okay, and we were standing there, and I was showing him some new construction tech stack that I put together so we can get developers from around the world. Okay, we have an exclusive on a deal in Rio de Janeiro, so I was kind of showing him some stuff and what I wanted to do with him.
Right.
And he from like pushed one simple button and turned the whole environment to the Google Street View out in front of his house. And our avatars were standing there, and we could turn around like we were there physically on the Google Street View. And he's like,
"Oh, really? Oh, that is sick right there."
Yeah. So I mean, so we're talking about the future, right? So I mean, the ability to have somebody in a metaverse environment, Frame, for example, which everything from the Verbella platform today will go to eXp.WORLD. Okay, that's all migrating there in 2024. But the ability to put 3D model developments inside of an expo hall, being able to take people to a desk where you could sit down and put up on the presentation wall the contract, have them click it from their own device, open a contract on their device, right, and sell them a new development property somewhere else in the world. The ability
Get me on that. And we're talking about frame.io or
yeah. So if you go today to eXp.WORLD, okay, you will enter the new eXp world. Okay, it's on the frame platform, right? And it's this is why I'm so excited about this, is because the ability that you could be sitting in Pune, India, and you could sell a project, a new construction project somewhere else in the world. Right?
Yeah, no, I absolutely love that. I was this excited about Frame 2 years ago, and I was hoping that they would have been able to take on Zoom and Discord all in one, and then they upped it to a whole nother level with what you're talking about right there.
Yeah, and the ability of being able to take a 3D Matterport, and you can export that, import it into Frame. So now your avatar can walk through that 3D Matterport. That's
in the house.
Yes.
Oh,
that's
my!
All doable.
Dude, send me that link today.
So I'm working on an example project on that right now with them. It's so cool. We're recording this so people will be able to go back in the future. But so we're going to come up with a demo on that. And then once we got that demo set up, I'll take and release that out. But this is the future, right? The ability that I could hand Adam Bailey, who lives in Wichita, Kansas, and I could say, Adam, here is some exclusives that we have, new developments in Dominican Republic, in Mexico, in Brazil, right? Then the hottest places to buy in the world, right? And you can add that to your portfolio that you already have, and go back to all those clients that you guys have all sold real estate to, and ask them the question that they bought in the last 2 or 3 years, and they're not going to move, but you can ask them, what are you doing to hedge against inflation? Right? Did you know that you could get 20 to 30+% equity gains in under 2 years in Brazil by buying there as a foreigner? No, you didn't know that. Well, let's talk, right? And those are the things that I get excited about, right? The ability to be a global real estate agent and broker. So
the financial literacy with this is, interesting, and understanding, where the better opportunities are. Internationally, when I came to eXp, I was thinking very, very small. I was in a region and attempting to go national, right? And I fumbled into the international game. It's because I lucked into getting into Toronto with the guy that, wanted me to coach him. I saved him 60 grand, and that's how that thing, sparked. So without a doubt, this thing is, it's like COVID. It grows, right? And you never know what's going to take you. I didn't say I'm going to go to Toronto and that's where it's going to be. That's where it took me, and everybody said no. So, you looking at where the numbers, best fit your model for what you're wanting to do with investing and stuff like that, and or purchasing, single home families. That's amazing. And that's things that I would love to, pick up from you as well. But my thing is I'm big with internet marketing, lead gen, conversion. And it's like, and we're doing it in Toronto. We're generating leads and converting with ISAs and stuff. But it's like, how can I start generating leads for Jason and make you part of the international team with the same back office stuff as well as all these other, opportunities? What are they calling that system or that vertical that you just mentioned? Is there a name for that yet?
Are you talking about new construction?
The new construction, being able to view the outer country listings.
Oh, okay. So like Home Hunter is probably what you're thinking of, that was that recently launched, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, what you were describing to me just a few minutes ago,
okay.
Like what we can do in Frame and some of the other things. Like, Are you manually having to do a lot of that? You're building that stuff out, or is that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, see, you guys are super smart. See.
So and I unveiled the tech stack to the team last week. Something we've been working on for like over 18 months, but. One of the biggest marketing tools for global outside of the US and Canada is a company called Flow, right? They automate the meta ads for Facebook and Instagram, right? And if you understand what walled garden is for the US, right? So walled garden, it's offered in the marketing center. So Flow is basically the walled garden for global, right? So
yeah. The guy that runs that, I don't know. I've been in the game 13, 14 years, and I seen him come up, when he first started running Facebook ads. So I liked the way that he was going with that automation piece to that. So I definitely would love to see what you guys got going on with that. You talked a lot about a lot of different things, and so did I, and we had to cut it short. Like, what is your guys' one thing? You mentioned a few of your other partners that night too, but it's like you guys have built some big companies before, and it seemed like you guys are on the tech side of things. And so is that like your one thing that makes you great, and then you adding in other verticals, or is it the relationships, or what? I mean, what is it? It's like, are you guys as great at leadership maybe?
At the end of the day, it's just, we understand that it's all about international, and it's about languages and culture, right? And my focus now is in 2024 is helping real estate agents understand how to leverage their language skills and cultural connections to close more business. Most agents are not leveraging that. And every agent that speaks a different language and has a connection to another culture lives within a tiny community of that culture in every city and every part of the world. So I look at the Indian diaspora, right? India is now the most populous country in the world. And every major city in the world has a small Indian community, right? And within that Indian community, you'll have people from, the northern part, southern part, etc., right? But those are the things. And if you can tap into a leader that is part of that ethnicity group, it will work like wildfire.
And the loyalty and the friendship is on a whole nother level. I have a big Indian group, and we all, mess around and joke and have fun with each other. And it's like they're sharp in Toronto because after they get their graduate from college over there, they come, I think, to Toronto to get their master's degree. And then if you're the elite of the elite, you go to Silicon Valley, right? And so these guys in Toronto we're in business with are building their own tech, CRMs, all of this stuff. And when I'm speaking, this is what it's going to take to be just an agent. Like, these guys are just getting into real estate, or maybe even been in a couple years, or, there's a mix of them, right? And I'm like, you guys just wait until you guys get going. And so I agree with you with that for sure. And so that right there, and that hub right there is like what got me into India and a few other countries. And so I think you're onto something for sure, with that. And they get the tech piece. And so are you guys, the sell stuff, let me just tell you, when I went up there, you talk about the language, and it's like, I graduated, North High and whatever, public school, lived in the hood, and it's like, I'm not the best speaker. I'm not probably I'm not the best grammar person, but I'm not trying to be English teacher neither. Here's what people do understand, even when I'm up in Canada: your heart, your passion, your vibration, and that same vibration you put out into the world is the vibration that you're getting back, and so when I first went up there, I can understand, Indians a little better now, without a doubt. But before, I couldn't. And I'm like, I speak fast, and from the Midwest, they're probably couldn't understand me. But now I can. But they all love me, and I love them. But it's like just good energy people. But there's good people, bad people, right? But
Exactly.
energy attracts energy. And so with the international game, you might not understand culturally how they are, but you damn sure got to figure it out so you're not disrespectful. You know what I mean? And get in alignment with that. But when it's good energy. You know why you really connected with me, not from the video or all of the content that I just dropped real quick. It was that night that we actually got to make a connection. And so if you make that connection, I had good energy, and I spent time with you, even though it was like 3 a.m. or whatever. You spent crazy time with me. Yep. Everybody wants to, but then I figured out you were sharp too, and I was like asking you questions, and we had to cut it off. And I just knew you had good energy, right? And so
Thanks,
that's what I tell people. They're like, "Well, I don't know a language, or I don't know anything." Well, go over there and learn their culture. Like, hang out with them, talk to them, and put off good energy, and that's what you'll get back. And I think that's where the international game is. It's like people are saying, "Wow, you're kind of ahead of the pack," or "You're doing great for your age," or whatever. Like you said in the beginning, I feel like I'm behind because the next blue ocean is this international game. It's like I'm down here in Wichita growing my roots, But and you know, in all my other markets too. But I'm more excited about the international game, figuring out the banking system, figuring out regulations, laws, the tech stack that it's going to be needed, the other sharp people that I could collaborate with and triangulate with that would be my competition in, let's just say, an old franchise model. Like you are would be my competition. I don't view you as competition. I view you as a friend that could bring, you know, some intellectual knowledge into my life, and I can learn from it.
You know, so I do want to end this segment here, and then we'll just jump to the third segment of today's call due to your time constraints, because I do want to talk about how you grew your team. But if you get from the end of this,
how we grew our team.
We grew. That's right. How we grew. You're right.
That right there is the language that you have to use.
Yes. How we. Yes. So, if you have somebody who's either on the call today or seeing this recording in the future, and they're thinking about joining eXp, right?
Right.
What would your one comment to them be?
My question is, are they a new agent, or are they a seasoned agent, or an owner? So, because I speak to them differently, all three of them.
Okay, so let's talk with somebody who's like similar to your background, right? Because I have an independent brokerage I've been working with in Spain, right?
Yeah.
And so if they were looking at this, right? And so people like those that are running those types of businesses are not going to make a quick move typically, right? They're going to plan that move, right? So what would your advice be to them?
You know, the cash conversion cycle, or joining or partnering cash conversion cycle, is about a year and a half. I mean, the 50-man group will probably get 40 of the agents out of the Seattle area. Shout out to Chris Sims that made that connection. They're coming in on my second level. He also introduced me to Michelle Wilson. It's got 600 agents throughout North America with us. And so the number one thing that I would say to somebody in that situation is, give me 1% of your trust. I'll earn the other 99%. And I promise you, I'm not going to ask for anything in return, because the number one principle is the law of reciprocity with me. I live in my personal life and it permeates throughout my business. Okay. However, I am going to ask you for one thing, and that is to keep an open mind, that as you see that I can bring more value into your life, because this isn't about real estate. We're doing life together. It's bigger than real estate and transactions and all that stuff, that you're open-minded to ramping into a partner with me. Can I count on you for that commitment to keep an open mind? And I will give you anything that I got, all of my lessons, so on and so forth. Most people say yes. And then I will help them, you know, and I don't coach for dollars anymore. You know, I want depth to my relationships. I don't want to be burning through contracts. So at a much larger game than we're playing, like with a Jason and Adam Bailey, it's like they got to sharpen their pen, and they're going to say no. Ego is a hell of a thing. Profitability is probably not there, you know, like it should be. And so being able to get in this international game to offset numbers, own other ancillary companies along with that, right, that are profitable, is what it's all about. And so being able to get that promise, to give the 1% and to keep an open mind, and it could not just change your life, it could change all of the other people's life that you're in business for and leading as well. And that's what I would tell them, because it cost me about a year and a half where I didn't have an open mind until I had to risk everything I had. And it cost me a lot, and so on and so forth. And so I wish that somebody would have been able to articulate things differently to me in a different manner. However, I wasn't receptive because of my ego, my pride, my blind spots, all of that stuff. But that's my own inner work that I had to do on myself with personal development. And that's why I'm having another growth spurt right now. But you also got to be able to put your money where your mouth is. And it's like, if you get those commitments, I'll give you everything I got, because I know you're coming at some point in time.
You know, and I think the quote that I use a lot really encapsulates everything you just said. And that is, you must first provide value before you become valuable, right? And you lead with value. Everything I've seen you do, Adam, is that you lead with value. And if you keep doing that long enough, people that attracts the right people to you, right? And it's huge. Hey, I hope you found value in today's legendary interview with our special guest. If you'd like to see more interviews just like this one, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And if you'd like to learn more about today's guest, I placed all their contact information in the description below. Who knows? Maybe they are the mentor you've been looking for. And if you're looking to make a change who you are partnered with in real estate, feel free to book a no-pressure private Zoom call with me. During this private call, I'll share with you how we help real estate agents leverage their language skills and cultural connections to close more transactions both locally and internationally using cutting-edge lead generation technology and marketing techniques. If you want to find yourself in a different situation in 90 days or in a year from now, it's important to find the right partners that can mentor you, have the right strategies, and are willing to give you the roadmap without asking for an additional cut of your commission. With the unique eXp Realty model, it's a collaboration, not competition mentality. The numbers don't lie either. So if you're curious, reach out and set up an appointment. I look forward to meeting you. Feel free to check out the other videos I have here on the channel about eXp Realty too, in case you're just curious. Otherwise, drop your questions or suggestions for upcoming guests in the comments below. Once again, I'm Jason P. Jordan, your go-to global real estate coach with the Legends International team, brokered by eXp Realty. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.